best decks in the format right now. I'm gonna say that's gonna go up there with Tri-Brigade and Virtual World. Now that's up for debate, but that's my opinion personally. A lot of people put in cards just to bully this deck, because I'm not being biased when I say I think this is the best deck in the format. It does put out the highest ceiling, meaning it just puts out the most interruptions on turn 1, essentially making it so your opponent can't play on turn 2. But yeah, I do believe this is the best deck. And yeah, we'll go over the profile, we'll do some combos, some test hands, and we'll do a little, play-by-play, and explain all the cards as we go along. So yeah, let's check it out. Okay, so we are all ready to duel. We got everything we need. We have our dice to see which opponent goes first. Double roll for high. Get these chest X dice. They come in a set of 12. These are probably my favorite ones that I've bought so far. These things look so good. These are like the Nova or Nebula, because they have a purple tint inside of them. And these just look really awesome. These are by far the best ones I've purchased. And of course we have our official Yugioh flip coin, where it says start to duel on the back. Very nice. And it just sits in there very nicely. Right next we have our Dragon Shield Life Ledger in our pen. I really like to keep life points on paper. Sometimes I'll use Neuron or a calculator or something like that, but the Life Ledger is just, I really like keeping track of win ratios, and if I enter tournaments, it's nice to know who I played, or I'll write notes on a deck that I'm not familiar with. So it's really cool to have one of these. To put that to our side, let's start with our Field Center card. So we have our Field Center card, completely optional. We got the XYZ Dragon here. The colors match really nicely, so that's why I picked the XYZ Dragon. I believe he's a machine too. If he's not a if he's not a dragon, he's definitely a machine. So kind of works. And of course, I got some blue Karibo tokens for when you get into Beer Root, or if your opponent needs tokens, or your opponent gives you a token. It's just nice to have. And I like to put it right under the Field Center card, because it kind of gives it this 3D effect. So let's start with our main deck. Just leave these up recently. I was actually waiting to make the video to get some last few games in with my old Dragon Shield sleeves. These actually have a lot of mileage on them. They were the ivory ones, and they got really dirty, and all the ripples up top. And these went through the remote duel extravaganza before the YZS. 8 hours straight of dueling in the YZS, and then all the weeks that followed, just playing at locals and with my good friend. 6. It's got a full parallel effect, and then also it gains levels equal or add an addition to the monster it sends. So if you send level 4, it gains 4 levels, making it level 6. And then you can make rank 6 plays based on that. It's a very important card. It's very, and it looks amazing, honestly. It's one of the best looking secret rares. And then we have 3 copies of Drytron Alpha. This is your main Drytron card for the most part, because when you activate it, it searches for the ritual monster. Any ritual monster, more than likely you're going to be searching your Benton. And then we play 3 copies of Zeta. Very important. It searches for your ritual spell, even though I only play 1 in the deck. It searches that, and then it's basically a full combo off of these 2 cards right here, but there's other ways around it as well. And then next we're going to play 2 copies of Drytron Gamma. Again, you don't necessarily need to run 3 of those. Honestly, you could run 1. Zeta Gamma is full combo as well, so it's not too bad opening with the Gamma. And it's also your monster reborn effect, so it works out really well. And then for our last Drytron effect monster, we're going to run 1 Drytron Delta. Pretty standard. It's just to get another name, Drytron name, if you run into a pinch, really. So that's going to be it for the Drytron monsters. Get these out of the way. I guess the heralds, I do like having those on top. Usually a lot of people do the fairies first, then the Drytrons, but yeah, you know. But next we're going to be playing 3 copies of Herald of the Orange Light. Not fortunate enough to have the ultimate rare copies of those. Those are quite expensive, but for some reason, every YouTuber's got triple playsets of those, or like a full playset of those. So I wish I did. But very standard though. It's a fairy. It's your hand trap. It's what you search for the main combo to have all your negates with ultimateness. And then we're going to be playing 2 copies of Ava. Ava's very important. It goes on your end combo as well, just to get more interruptions in the hand. And then for our hand traps, we're going to be playing 3 Ash Blossom in the Choice Springs. Self-explanatory, very versatile. It's got 3 effects on it. Everyone's playing it. It works. It wins games. So not too much to say about that one. And then 3 effect failures. Ideally, you do want to run Imperm over Veiler, but since it is a level 1, you can normal summon it and do rank 1 plays. Same with Eva, it's level 1 too. You can do Troll and Lock. But ideally, I think Ash Veiler or Ash Imperm is the 2 best hand traps for just going in blind. But you know, that's just my opinion. And then we're going to be playing Dark Magician, of course, the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense. And then 1 Red Eyes, Beat Dragon, Approach Dragon with a Deadly Attack. Yeah, so we're running a Dragoon Package in here. I wasn't running it in the YCS. I probably should have. I ended up doing the TG Wonder Magician play where you search Artifact Scythe off your Ben 10 and then you lock your opponent out of your extra deck. But the amount of bricks to, practicality, Dragoon is just better. Dragoon has follow-up all on its own, so you don't even have to worry about it. So we do run a Dragoon package. So we'll go ahead and get rid of those. And then for the last of the monsters in the deck, we're going to be running 1 Drytron, Meteonus Draconids. Just a beat monster. I love this deck because it has an in-deck boss monster. I love the fact that it has a 4,000 beat stick that's just main decked at all times. not to mention it has a quick effect interruption on your opponent's turn. This thing is just, it's came up so often. I could never imagine even cutting it. So that's my reason for him. Herald Ultimate this is your end board, this is your win condition. Anytime your opponent, it's an Omni negate, and you can have up to five fairies in hand, 5-6 fairies in hand. And whenever your opponent activates something, you negate or discard a fairy and negates the activation of anything. So if you have 5 fairies in hand, just negate. It's awful for your opponent. It just doesn't let them play the game. And then we're going to be going one Cyber Rage all the way to 10. It just goes with the main combo. You can cut the combo short and literally just run Ultimateness, Dragonheads, and Ben 10. But I like Eye to 10 to make Beatrice. That's just, a lot of hardcore Drytron players don't go that route at all. So what I found out. And then for our last monster, last ritual monster as well, Cyber Angel Ben 10. It's the best ritual monster in the deck. It searches your it's spammable, it's not once per turn, and it just gets you that light fairy type every time. Whether it's a diviner or the Herald of Orange Light. Or an artifact Lancia, depending on your play. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Tri-Brigade player in the YCS. Forgot I could search that, didn't you? Anyways, alright, and for the spells, the last cards in the deck, this deck runs no traps. So we're gonna play triple copies of Drytron Nova. Very important card, just really good. It doesn't, it goes down to Ash, but it wouldn't go down to, Troll or anything like that. Just special summons a Drytron straight from the deck, any name you want. So, really important to have. Then we play a 1 copy of Medionis Drytron, our ritual spell. So you could run 2. I've ran 2, and a lot of people just aren't running DD Crow. I forget the other one. But a lot of people just aren't banishing this. They're getting your Ben 10, they're getting your Diviner, they're not attacks directly, so there's not much I can say about that. Attacks directly, throw on a downer, throw on the Zeus, 4 materials, good to go. And for our fusion monsters, we're going to one Red Eye Star Dragoon, and then one Elter Entity Entis for any removal if on turn 2 with your Diviner. Or if you're going second, you got a problematic card. Normal summon out Diviner, send Entis to the graveyard, pop that Tyranno Conductor, and you're feeling pretty good. So, alright, so that'll do it for Xyz and Fusion. And now we have our 2 synchros. So just 2 copies of Herald of the Orange Light. A lot of people run one, and I did run one for a while. I ran one in the YCS, and it's a bad idea. I think for follow-up, sometimes you really need follow-up, and if you can only send an Entis off a Diviner, they don't even have anything to pop, and you really need a Ritual Monster to, make plays from your graveyard. There's just so many situations where I was like, dang, I wish I had that second Herald. So it's staying. It's not going anywhere. 2 Heralds is the way to go in my opinion. So, and then on to our Link monsters. We have 1 Access Code Talker. Just a beat. He's just a bad move. He's a bad dude. He's good. Not much to say about him. And then we have 1 Appaloosa Goddess. Can put up to, up to 4 negates. It's very versatile. If you get hand trapped or you get your combo messed up, you can make a 4 negate Appaloosa and, feel pretty comfortable passing turn on that. And then next we have a IP Masquerena. It goes along with the main combo as well to get into. If you run out of Herald negates, you can IP into an Appaloosa, or if they, whatever the situation calls for, but you do end on IP Masquerena on your first board a lot of the times. And then we're going to play 1 Bread Blade for the Anaconda, and then 1 Link Repo. Now I was running a Boral Sword Dragon in the YCS. I think that was minus the Dragoon package. I was running a Boral Sword, and I think I can't think of it right now, but Boral Sword's really good too if you don't have Access Code Talker. A lot of people like Boral Sword over Access Code Talker, but I do like the removal aspect of it, so, and it does come in handy. And now that it runs Dragoon, a lot of people worry about life points, cleaning up for life points on turn 3, but if you put a Dragoon out, it's obviously not the issue. Alright, and lastly, we have our side deck. So right now I'm not running, I don't have droplets. I wish I had droplets because I would run it in this deck for sure. Just a little too expensive for me to be grabbing those right now. And I'm not running my Dark Rulers either in this deck. I wanted to try something else out, so I'm running 1 Regeki and 2 Dark Holes. Just to test them. Just to test them. They work. They absolutely work a lot of the times. A lot of boards aren't putting out Omni negates right now, so just clearing, instead of just negating all their monster effects and then not being able to get damage in that turn, you can just clean out board with these guys. And it try some combos. We'll do some test hands. This deck does have a bit of a consistency problem, so we may break a few times. We'll see. So we'll see. So let's actually just go ahead and just get right into it. And it's funny, since I put in the Dragoon package, when I've been playing against a good friend of mine, he had a Dragoon package in his Dino deck at one point. He kept drawing Red Eyes and Dark Magician, Red Eyes Fusion, always, at least one of them, always. And up until like last night or the night before, after playing this deck with the Dragoon engine for at least 5 or 6 matches, I still haven't drawn any of those cards. So it was funny, he was getting upset. But hopefully that doesn't happen to us tonight. And start breaking really bad. And start making this deck look bad. It is pretty consistent for the most part. If you can wheedle your way out of a lot of situations. Alright, so get our break shuffle in. Break shuffling is imperative, I think, because sometimes when you side deck, you just put them all together. Sometimes you miss those clumps of cards when you're mass shuffling, and you'll sometimes get triple copies and stuff. So yeah, we're all good. We're all shuffled up. Our opponent's gonna cut our deck in half, and that's when we tell our opponent good luck and have fun. And then we'll go ahead and draw 5. Let's go ahead and see what happens on the dice roll. So we rolled a 6. We're going to be going first. It's usually how that works anyways, but just for the simulation. And also, we're always going to be under the impression our opponent doesn't have any interruptions at all, so we can just play our hand freely and, not worry about hand traps. So let's check out our first starting hand. We have Effect Veiler. We have a Drytron Nova. We have a Cyber Emergency. 1 Drytron Alpha. And we have Red Eyes Fusion. That's funny that we actually opened with a Dragoon package card on turn 1, but we opened it with a beautiful hand. I must say we have follow-up if we get on his Drytron. After that resolves, we get our search off of Benton. And that's going to go grab us a Diviner of the Herald. Right. Okay, so now we have Alpha Zeta right there. If I'm worried about getting pinched, usually I'll just normal summon out the Diviner at this point. Or I'm sorry, no, if I try to let the Diviner get pinched if I know I'm gonna get pinched, because you can still make a medium enemies too. It really depends on the situation, but this is the baseline combo that I'm showing you right now. So you got your Alpha Yugioh, and you still haven't normal summoned yet, so at this point you normal summon out your Diviner or the Herald. Diviner's going to do Foolish Burial effect. You can send one from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, so that at this point you send one Herald of the Arclight. Herald of the Arclight goes to the grave, his effect triggers, and you get to search for one ritual monster or ritual spell. Very important. If you didn't have access to Zeta, that's free access to your ritual spells. So right now we're going to go search for Idodin, so we can make some rank 6 plays. So since Diviner sent a level 4, Diviner is now a level 6 because it gained its levels. Okay, so now we have Idodin in the hand. Alright, and now we're going to overlay our Alpha and our Zeta for a Drytron Beta Fafnir. And now we have our Beta Fafnir with some Potter. We go ahead and we activate our ritual spell, and we detach one. Doesn't matter which one from our Beta, and we special summon out Idodin. Idodin effect triggers once it hits the field. It returns one ritual spell from your graveyard or from your deck to your hand. So if you do run two, I recommend just searching that second one out of your deck, just in case that one gets crowed or something like that. So now at this point, we can go ahead and overlay our Idodin and our Diviner, because they're both level 6s. And then we're going to go make our Beatrice. Oh, jeez Louise, I already messed up. Oh man, there's so much going on. Okay, so rewind to when I made the Mubeta. Basically, whenever Mubeta hits the field, you can do a Foolish Burial effect with any Drytron card or any card that says Drytron on it. So when you make Mubeta, you actually dump a Gamma into the graveyard. Such an amateur mistake. Because honestly, that wouldn't fly in a tournament or anything like that. Like, oh, I forgot. Like, no. At locals, even Nelson, that would not fly at all. Wow, I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, I'm not gonna go back on it either. But, yeah, so whenever you make Mubeta, make sure you get that dump. And dump your Gamma. Very important. We're gonna need him later. So now we made our Beatrice. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and activate Beatrice effect. And we're going to detach our Diviner, which is also very important. So we can banish it later for Ava's effect, which is actually coming up. So now we send Ava to the graveyard. And when Ava hits the graveyard, Ava's effect triggers, and he can banish 2 light monsters with different names, or light fairy types. You go search 2 level 2 or lower light fairy types with different names. So you go search for a Diviner, 1 Herald of the Orange Light, decrease one machine monster by 1,000, and then we're gonna bring back our or one Drytron monster, not machine, and we're gonna bring our ritual spell back to hand by decreasing it by 1,000. So now Mobeda's at 1,000 attack, and then we're gonna go ahead and activate our Gamma from Grave from what we dumped earlier from our Mobeda, and we're gonna bring it out. We're gonna tribute Ben 10, that's its fodder. Bring it out. Gamma's gonna bring out a friend, and then we're gonna get our search off of Ben 10, and we're gonna go search for our Herald of Ultimateness. Alright. Now we have our Herald of Ultimateness in hand. We can go ahead and use our ritual spell for the third and final time. And we'll just use Alpha here. And we'll go ahead and put Herald in this column right here. Just so it's out of the way. It's not in front of an extra monster zone. It is kind of important not to put it in an extra monster zone or in the middle and get in the way of anything. So now ritual spells in the grave. At this point, we can go ahead and link off our Gamma and our Mobeda, and we can put out an IP Masquerader. So the idea is that on your opponent's standby phase, you attach a Beatrice, but if you run out and engage with Herald of Ultimateness, you can always quick effect IP and go to 3 and 4, and then make a 3 negate Appaloosa. But since we have the extra, we'll go ahead and get a beta out of our deck right now, and we'll do, or Delta, I'm sorry, we'll do Drytron Nova. And we'll pull Bub's going off. Yeah, sorry, where was I? Okay, so we do our Drytron Nova, and we'll pull out our Delta. And we won't get use out of them right now, but on follow-up, if we need that extra card draw, we'll go ahead and do that. But for now, we'll just link him off into a Linkaribo. And now we're looking pretty good, because on standby, we can go ahead and just make the Appaloosa, or we can make an access code talker, which is really cool. So at this point, this is exactly how we're going to end turn. Our 2 extra cards, since we used the Nova. That third card could have been anything. And we have our 2 negates. So we pass turn. Your opponent draws during standby phase. You'll go ahead and activate Beatrice effect. You'll detach Idaten to Foolish Burial effect. And we'll go ahead and dump another Ava, because Ava is once per turn. And same with Beatrice, so you can't do it on the same turn. So we'll send that Ava. Ava's effect is going to trigger. And we're going to banish our Idaten, and we're going to banish that other Ava to go search our deck for another Herald of Ultimateness, or Herald of Orange Light, and another Diviner. And remember, Herald of Ultimateness is not a once per turn, and anytime you discard a fairy, you can negate the activation of anything. So, alright, sorry about that. Winnie started barking, so I'm gonna go check on her. So we did our Beatrice effect on our opponent's standby phase. So now we have 4 fairies in hand, so we have 4 Omni negates with our Herald of Ultimateness. So we let our opponent go into the main phase, But at this point, if they keep going, you can throw your diviner, go into a bit, go into an Appaloosa. But let's say he's getting ready to pass turn. But so in the main phase, we'll go ahead and quick effect. And we'll get rid of 2, a 3, and to make a 4, link 4. And we can make Appaloosa, but if I know the game's in the bag, I'll go ahead and make an access code talker. And we'll gain the effect from my P using link 2 to put him at 4,300 attack. And now we just gotta make up for the other 2,000. So your opponent would pass turn. We'll go ahead and draw. Doesn't really matter what this card is. Since we do the Red Eyes Fusion, so I'll just activate Red Eyes Fusion. And then we'll go ahead and put send a Red Eyes and a Dark Magician to the graveyard. Then we'll go ahead and put our Dark Dragoon on the field. And we'll go ahead and go into attack mode. And we'll go ahead and clean up and we'll attack for 3,000 plus 4,300 plus 2,000. That'll get you the game. So that's pretty much the baseline play. I did misplay with the Moo Beta. I didn't feel like going back and doing the whole video again because misplays happen all the time. And like with decks being this fast paced, you're gonna miss some stuff from time to time. Not to mention I've been playing some other decks recently, so I haven't been playing this one too much often. Otherwise, I probably would have remembered. But anyways, yeah, that's gonna do it. I appreciate you watching, and hope you have a good night. Peace.